2016 has been a year of ups and downs, victories and losses, and all of that has brought us to this very moment. Welcome to the finals of the Great Debaters Contest 2016. I am your host, Mariam Bishar. We're starting off the finals with a battle between ladies. Metkei girls goes versus Leakey High School, and they are debating on whether the ICC has failed in its primary role of prosecuting war crimes. We'll let the lovely ladies take the stage in this very interesting debate. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes to wow us.
He was indicted on 4th March 2009 on 2 accounts of civil wars that was regarded because of Darfur. It is because of his position, specifically during April 2009 to July, specifically between April 2003 to July 2009. He used his position as the president to implement a government policy that used the state apparatus to victimize those who are from the rebel groups. The ICC chipped in and gave a verdict that this very same leader was supposed to become a fugitive in his country. Despite this verdict that was given, we see this very same leader traveling to countries, including Kenya and South Africa. Remember, these 2 countries are member states of the Rome Statute, and they have the obligation of arresting such leaders, but they failed. This is none other than Omar al-Bashir, His Excellency Omar al-Bashir, the president of Sudan. I give this story to show you how ICC has failed in prosecuting war crimes. I am Judy Chebon, standing in as the first speaker, proposing this motion without any fear of contradiction. If I were to give a simple definition of ICC, I would say ICC is nothing but an American-led instrument of global dominance that has failed to take out incompetent leaders who claim to be leading African countries. Let me take you back to our very own homeland, Kenya, from Sudan. I know most of us do not like to hear this story, but you please have to bear with me. Back then in 2007, 2008, we experienced clashes. His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta and Honorable William Ruto were senior leaders in opposing parties. It is alleged that Uhuru Kenyatta led the Kikuyu ethnic group against the Kalenjin. William Ruto again is alleged to have led the Kalenjin ethnic group against the Kikuyus. It is because of this, it led to a large-scale war which broke out into clashes. Many people lost their lives. There were massive loss of properties. African Union saw it wise to send a mediator who was Kofi Annan to come and mediate the issues between the 2 groups. Kofi Annan, the government was ordered to establish a tribunal that was supposed to sort out these issues, but it failed. The ICC chipped in and ordered Kofi Annan to submit the confidential list of the 6 suspects who had been suspected. After the ICC had taken the list, it tried to tackle person by person, but at some point, it failed. I want to know, what else is there for us to prove? We've already seen that it has failed Sudan and it has failed Kenya. What else is there for us to prove that it hasn't failed Africa? Thank you.
Opposition Mary Leakey, you have 3 minutes to make your opening statements.
Salutations to you all. My name is Gita Wanjiko Joy from the Mary Leakey Girls High School. I'm strongly opposing the motion that the ICC has failed in its primary role of prosecuting war crimes. First of all, what is the ICC? The ICC is the International Criminal Court, which is a Rome Statute, which was adopted on 7th July 1998, but it came to power on 1st July 2002. It is an intergovernmental organization, an international tribunal that sits in The Hague in Netherlands, which has a jurisdiction to prosecute criminals on war crimes, on genocide, and on crimes against humanity. then we can ask ourselves, what is a war crime? A war crime is an action carried out during a war which is against the code of conduct which is accepted during war. Then, first and foremost, they have said that, my opponents have said that the ICC is an American organization. First of all, the United States of America is not a member state of the ICC. Then, they have also said that, they have also talked about Uhuru Kenyatta. And when we first go back to the motion, we've seen that His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta was to be prosecuted on crime against humanity, not war crime. Then, first and foremost, my first point is that the ICC has not failed. The member states have failed. We have seen His Excellency Omar al-Bashir has been touring countries like Chad and Kenya, who are member states of the ICC. But what have we seen? The member states, they can also arrest him, but he's moving as a free person. How comes we are not cooperating with the ICC in prosecuting criminals? That means the ICC have not failed. In actual sense, the member states have failed themselves. When you fail to give enough evidence, when you fail to take them in, how are we supposed to explain this if the member states are not complying with the laws, if the member states are not exercising their rights over the people of the criminals who have been, in actual sense, we should know that the ICC has not failed. The member states themselves have failed the ICC by not producing evidence, by not arresting them when they tour countries, and where they're supposed to go touring countries, yet they started war. They have committed war crimes. It is not fair.
We hear cross-examinations. Metkei, you have the floor for 3 minutes.
If I'm not surprised, I'm shocked. I can't believe Africans can betray their own Africa. You're actually trying to tell us that African nations are actually the ones who are failing in their own role. Come to think of it, were it that South Africa would have arrested Omar al-Bashir, wouldn't there have been a war between Sudan and South Africa? This is the president they're tampering with. You cannot arrest a leader and expect peace. We did not say that US is a member of we did not say that the US is a member of the ICC. We just say that it is a United States instrument that is used for dominance on African countries. In fact, if I was to describe ICC, I would describe it as ICCA, International Criminal Courts for Africans. One man said that no nation has the power to decide on the behalf of the other, nor a man to decide on the behalf of others. This is Julius Nyerere, one of our own Africans. Why are we Africans allowing are we allowing United Nations members to actually dominate over us? The white man has actually dominated over the world because he has made everyone believe that what he thinks is right. On to my first point. The ICC has failed Africa simply because it only prosecutes those which it finds with the greatest responsibilities in the war crimes. What happens to those who did not perform major roles but actually took part? They are free. They have a chance to commit war crimes again. Africans, open your eyes. Do not turn a blind eye to the saying that justice denied is justice delayed. Come to think of it, 9 years since the post-election violence took place, we are still waiting for the verdict to be given. Yet we are hearing that charges are being withdrawn. What are the reasons behind the withdrawing of the charges? We are not being given clear reasons as to why they're withdrawing the charges. Verdicts given. The ICC cannot give a sentence that is exceeding 30 years of imprisonment. And in only special cases does the ICC give a verdict of life imprisonment. Take an example of the president of Mali, Ahmed al-Mahdi. He was only sentenced to 9 years of imprisonment. Consider the number of deaths that occur. Consider the peace that he tampered with. Yet he's only being sentenced to 9 years of imprisonment. Is this fair? Take an instance if this case would have been handled in their own court. He would either have been sentenced to life imprisonment or he would have been sentenced to death by hanging. Africans, open your eyes. This is reality. Take the bull by the horns. I rest my case.
Mary Leakey, you have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
I'm Wambwe Wanja from the Metkei Girls High School, and I strongly oppose the motion today. You said that the president of Mali was sentenced for 9 years, and you're complaining. So would you rather that they continue on with not prosecuting these leaders? At least they made an effort. And I think my fellow opposer said that defined war crimes. All of you are giving points about crimes against humanity. I think we need to go back to our motion, if I'm not wrong. Let's please study it well. Then you were talking about the post-election violence. Let's look at the recent one. Were there post-election violence? No, because the ICC has been able to instill fear in these candidates. They are afraid that they are actually going to be prosecuted for their actions. So let us look at what they have done. My fellow opposer also said that it's the member states that are failing. True, it is the member states. Why are we defending our countries that are failing in taking the chance that they have been given to arrest these people? It is not going against our fellow Africans. Would you let them go knowing that fellow Africans are going to die if we release them? We need to arrest these people, and if there is a war that comes, we will be defended because we are doing the right thing. Take a step fast. Don't be like, what if? Do what you're supposed to do while you have the chance and save lives. Secondly, there is the conviction of Jean Perry. He was convicted by the ICC. South Africa, Uganda, Kenya, and other countries have threatened to get out of the ICC. They are fearing that these people are actually going to benedict them. And we know that we're saying that the ICC, as you called it, the ICCA, is measuring on African presidents. Why are we looking at what that they are judging Africans? They are not looking majorly on Africans. We also see that they are trying to defend us Africans. Let us major on our Africa. You're telling us to love our continent, yet you're denying the fact that they have actually helped prosecute African leaders. Where exactly do you guys stand? You say that they're opposing Africans, but they're helping us by looking at these people, what they have done, and actually taking them to court and asking them to account for their actions. We need to look at the efforts that they have done. We need to congratulate them for making these people know that just because you have the money, just because you're on that seat, you will not get away with what you've done. So they are not just majoring on Africans. They are helping our continent. I rest my case.
Members of the audience have posed questions to the two teams on stage, and they will be responding shortly. The proposition have been asked that they claimed that the ICC is an instrument of the US, but how can that be when the United States is not even a member of the ICC? And the opposition have been asked, if the ICC has not failed, how come it seems to be lenient towards African leaders, for example, giving a sentence of only 9 years for war crimes and massacres? We'll have them respond to those questions. Proposers, you have 3 minutes.
Although you never said your name, from Late Academy, that's a nice question. You are asking why we are saying that ICC, or rather International Criminal Court, is a subject to the United States of America. It is clearly stated that the International Criminal Court is a subject to the United States of America, though it's not a member. I want to make some things clear. It is not that the involvement of the United States of America means that it is a member state of the members. It's not a member of the International Criminal Court. I want to criticize what my opponent said. She talked about inflicting fear. I mean, are we establishing organizations in this continent in order to inflict fear, or are we doing it for the purpose of action? I believe in action, and if it has to be action, then so be it. My audience, I want you to reason with me. We are talking of International Criminal Court failing. It is a clear fact. It is seen in all the things that have been done. I want to make you aware that out of the 36 criminals who have been indicted, I'm talking about being indicted, not convicted. Out of the 36 who have been indicted, only 2 have been convicted. I mean, since 1998 till now, only working on 2 criminals. My audience, you ought to think about that. I also want to make it clear that the International Criminal Court is facing political interference. Why am I saying so? Since its inception in 1998 and its final opening in 2002, United States of America took an advantage of violating international law as well as the human rights. Why am I saying so? Because immediately after the establishment of the International Criminal Court, the United States of America attacked Iraq. Also, the NATO, which is the North Atlantic Trade Organization, took part and assisted USA in attacking Iraq. You also see Israel attacking Gaza, all aiming at civilian population. I mean, my audience, if this organization is facing political interference, there's nothing we are doing since 1998. The only thing we've been doing is solving two criminal cases. I fail to understand. I also fail to understand why we still believe in European superiority. My mother taught me that if you are taught something, you've got to take the responsibilities some years to come. International Criminal Court has been nurturing us all through. It's time for us to take our chance, to take the responsibility and solve our own cases as it is expected. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the question.
My name is Crystal Wango Munene from the Leakey Girls High School, opposing the motion. First, to answer a question from a member of Sacho Boys, he asked whether there is leniency towards African members, African leaders who are being indicted and being convicted by the ICC. Don't you realize that there's something that has already been done? I'd like to state that the ICC has been put in place when domestic courts can't or won't prosecute those crimes that have been brought to light. And the thing is this: when a leader is indicted for or is convicted for only 9 years, what should tell you about the country itself? That maybe not enough evidence was given to convict that leader of more than 9 years. Think of it this way: the Rome Statute also has rules that it has to live by. It has rules that it is governed by, and therefore it can only work in those rules. Remember, it is an international body. It has to respect each and every member of that body. To continue, my fellow colleagues have said that the ICC hasn't failed, but it's the member states which have failed. I am a lover of Africa, and I will always love Africa, but I will not keep silent that the Africans are crying wolf, wolf, bias, bias, because you are afraid that once the ICC is involved, you will definitely be persecuted because you are involved in those crimes. The leaders have been saying that ICC is biased, it only focuses on Africans, and I'd like to correct my fellow opponent, not 36, members, but 39 have been indicted by the ICC. Surprisingly, all of these are Africans. Why? Because we're focusing on an African country. I'm not saying that on our African continent, I'm not saying that ICC is perfect, no. But every government, every institution deserves the benefit of the doubt, because we cannot keep quiet and we cannot turn a blind eye on the good things that the ICC has done. Look at Thomas Lubanga, a Congolese warlord. He was convicted. And that is because of the ICC. And as much as leaders in Rwanda, leaders in South Africa, Gambia will keep saying we want to withdraw because ICC is too biased, that it's discriminating on Africans because they will only prosecute Africans. Take a time to look and reason why. Why is it only Africans? Because as much as there are many cases, many major war crimes cases across the continent, but Africa is a growing continent, a continent that is needed in this world to be a part of the revolution, to see economic growth that has never been seen before. And the sad thing is that we as Africans continue killing our own country by running away from what we need. The ICC will try to help us. Yes, they're not perfect, but they will do what they must. To quote Secretary Ban Ki-moon in the inauguration of the permanent premises of the ICC in The Hague, he said that he is confident in the ICC because of the move that they are making, because at the end of the day, no one will be able to run away from the law, because according to the Article 27 in the Rome Statute, everyone is under the law. Therefore, whether you're president or whether you're a mere peasant, you will be brought to book as long as you have committed a crime. Thank you.
We'll now hear final statements from both teams. Proposition, you have a minute.
I thought the story of the lost sheep is only found in the Bible, but I think we have lost Africans in the house, and we need to retrieve them as fast as we can. Facts are facts, and they will still, no matter how bitter they are, they still remain to be facts. Although the involvement of ICC is well-intentioned, a greater portion of it causes the war-torn countries not to heal. It has also hardened the hearts of those who are victims to exercise their peace and also win justice. I am an African, not because I was born in Africa, but I am an African because African lives in me. I have the brains. You have the brains. They have the brains. We can collude and work together and form tribunal courts. We can help ourselves. Why should we keep on going to the white mans to come and help us? We can do it. We can be led by people who are learned, who are Africans. We all have to stand up and be counted. We all have to open our eyes. As far as we, the proposers, are concerned, I officially declare our case closed. Thank you.
Mary Leakey, you have a minute as well.
I commend the proficiency of my opponents, and it is true, Africa is ours. But why is the ICC there? Because it is plain in the sight of everyone that Africa has failed in terms of prosecuting the people who have committed these war crimes against its own citizens. The thing is this, everyone out there deserves a right to live freely knowing that I am safe. And the fact that Africa is ours, meaning that, yes, tribunals have been formed. In case in point, we have tribunals in Arusha, we have tribunals in Kenya, but these courts are failing. Why? Because our own leaders and us ourselves, we have lived in the stereotypical way that everybody is corrupt. You just have to find a way to make it out in this world. And sadly, most of these ways that many of these leaders choose end up hurting the very people they claim to protect. That is why ICC was put in the first place. You have to understand that there is no way we can do away with a court that is the only permanent tribunal in solving international war crimes. I rest my case.
To Metkei, it hasn't failed. Some of the questions that I had is the state of awareness that there's a watchdog to all the African states, especially during elections time. Isn't that not enough to tell us that it has worked? Because now leaders have a sense of responsibility not to ignite any violence within those particular times of political unrest. So I think in one way you would have stood out and said that, listen, it has really worked. And even give an example of us, because in one election we had the post-election violence, and after the ICC came in, How was the other election? Very peaceful, is it? Maybe it was as a result of that. So, and I think those are some of the things that I expected to be hammered on to come out strongly. So all the same, I still feel there was still room for a lot of investigation and research for you to really bring the points home. All the best to the two teams.
The opposers, you start off very well and you say, I think that was Joy, that the ICC has not failed, the member states have failed. And I say, that's interesting. So let me listen. But you do not build on that case. And I think your first speaker deals with a lot of stage fright. And, you know, many of you across the two teams did not have facts to substantiate your arguments. And I think you're relying a lot on hearsay and on allegations. It's about fact. You know, that's what we need at this point. So lots of generalities without specifics. Some things that you say that are not right, you know, especially about the ICC. I think you needed to demystify what ICC is, even to yourselves, before you can convince us whether or not it has failed or hasn't failed. I think there was very poor execution of this first debate of the finals.
We'll go to the results now. The ladies started off interesting. Metkei girls, the judges awarded you 58%. Please give them a round of applause. And Mary Leakey girls, you're our winners for the day with 60%. Please give them a round of applause as well. Thank you very much to the two teams on stage for a job well done, and to the audience as well for your questions and being keen, and to all the people watching at home. Catch us next time, same place, same time. I am your host, Mariam Bishar.